Tim, welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we are looking at the Omega Speedmaster 57 coaxial chronograph, 41.5 millimeters in stainless steel. You can see this coaxial chronograph on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there if you like, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can see on my wrist 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. The 57 wears far larger than its namesake. Now, it's a generous 50 millimeters from extremity of lug to extremity of lug and 16.5 millimeters thick. This one definitely sits proud of the wrist, and with that outward cantilevered bezel, it's possibly not the best match for a very tight sleeve, but it has the versatile black dial, white metal combination to look good with any attire. I'll also mention that because of the clever inset bracelet and underslung lug connection, it actually wears smaller than its 50 millimeter lug to lug sizing would suggest. From an ergonomic standpoint, I'm very impressed by the mass of this watch, not just the substance it conveys, but how well it's balanced through 360 degrees. I really feel, and this is an important element of a full bracelet clasp sports watch, that the clasp and the bracelet should have a counterbalancing effect so that the watch head doesn't feel like it wants to capsize over the wrist. And I get that with this watch. I get it and I appreciate it. What I also appreciate is that underslung lug arrangement that I mentioned. Now, Omega designed this watch to look full-sized, even a bit oversized, but to wear smaller than it looks. And you can see this inset connection between the lug and the bracelet is the key. The extremity of the lug is actually outboard of the pivot point of the bracelet, which is itself sort of linked into a scalloped flank of the case of the conforming end piece of the bracelet and the case of itself inboard of the lug. Very clever. It's an ergonomic dream on the wrist. Likewise, Omega includes an outstanding double deployment clasp, very secure, beautifully finished with twin trigger release. When this one's closed, what I really appreciate about it is that not only is it secure thanks to the twin trigger and easy to close on a small wrist thanks to the twin deployment action, but it's almost completely seamless. Apart from that center link with the Omega marquee, you hardly even know it's there. It doesn't break up the flow of this beautifully contrasting finished bracelet. Now you can see the outboard portions of the lugs have been polished, the shoulders are brushed, and the center links are polished. Contrast being achieved without any kind of two-tone effects. I like it because it breaks up the expansive metal. It adds style and flair. Now, Omega has two different types of historic watches in its collection. Those that are historically inspired but stand on their own as new models in their own right, and those that are more like tribute replicas that are a little bit more dependent on the watches they reference. Now, the tribute replicas are watches like the Bullheads, like the Seamaster 300 Master Coaxial. Watches, for instance, that rely heavily on the aura of their predecessors. Then there are those that are more interpretive tributes that break new ground in terms of style and features. Watches like the Globemaster, watches like the 2005 Planet Oceans, and watches like this Speedmaster 57 line. The Speedmaster 57 line came out at Baselworld 2013, and the first thing you notice about it, if you're familiar with the original Omega CK2915 Speedmasters from 57, is that they don't really look like this. Now, they do have the alpha hands, they do have the metallic tachometer, they do have this font and applied Omega marquee emblem at 12 o'clock, but what they don't have is this vintage-style twin register layout or any of the specific detailing of this dial, which I should mention includes a very historically non-standard date window. This watch is sort of an imaginary vision of the past, paying tribute to some of the styling themes of the 50s while breaking new ground in terms of functionality. You can see, thanks to the caliber 9300 automatic coaxial chronograph movement, there's actually a triple register chronograph hidden on a twin register design. You can see the progress of the mono counter at 3 o'clock, that's why I've had the chronograph running. You can see the minute hand, the outboard track, and the hour hand, the inboard track with the broad arrow, allowing you to register two different time scales on a single subdial. Likewise, the constant seconds at 9 o'clock provides visual balance and that vintage twin register vibe, but the watch is a modern timepiece, and nowhere is that more true than the case back. I'm going to open that gorgeous twin trigger double deployant and give you a look at the caliber 9300. Omega has exclusive rights to this movement within the Swatch Group, so while it is built by ETA, What's distinctive about it is that it's exclusive to the Omega watch line, and it's built on a separate assembly line in Grenchen at the ETA Works. 60-hour power reserve, twin mainspring barrels in series, SI-14 hairspring, balance, and escapement assembly. You have the gorgeous distinctive arabesque instead of the Côte de Genève on the bridges and rotors, and you have a gorgeous black oxidized screw usage that's distinct from the polished screws and the blue oxidized screws more common in Swiss high horology. Now, you can see the column wheel through a skeletonized portion, and I enjoy cycling this chronograph. Let me see if I can, because you can see the column wheel through that skeletonized portion. It's like a viewing port within a display back. Now, the watch is remarkably tough. Free sprung with a full balance bridge, it can shake off a knock. As a COSC certified chronometer, it's not only incredibly accurate, but it also features hacking seconds, so if you pull the crown, you will stop the balance. You can synchronize it precisely to a known accurate reference time. What I also like about this is that not only is it distinctive in its look, not only is it modern in its architecture, but it nicely integrates the George Daniels coaxial movement in a full-blown sports watch caliber. The 8500s with the three-hand time and the date, and the 9300 coaxial chronographs represent the ultimate evolution of the Daniels coaxial concept, and it's finally realized its potential, being both superior to the COSC timing standards that are the baseline for testing this model, and as tough as anything in a modern Rolex caliber. This watch really does have it all from a mechanical standpoint. You can see this Omega Speedmaster 57 coaxial chronograph, 41.5 millimeters in stainless steel, on our website, watchyouwant.com.